Nobody talks about how dangerous old chats are, because sometimes one message from 2 years ago can ruin your entire night, not because you still love them, but because you miss the version of yourself that existed when they did. And the scary part is, people don't even realize when it starts. You're just casually scrolling, looking for one old photo, one meme, one random message, and suddenly you're sitting there at 2 a.m., reading goodnight, like a forensic psychologist. Interesting. 2 smileys here. Emotional stability was stronger in this era. Human beings are honestly ridiculous. We can ignore a person for 6 months, but reread the same 3 chats like there's hidden bonus content Netflix forgot to release. And psychology actually has a reason for this, because your brain doesn't store relationships like information. It stores them like feelings. So when you reread old chats, your brain isn't trying to remember the conversation. It's trying to revisit the emotion attached to it, that version of you, that period of life, when things still felt exciting, when notifications from one person could genuinely change your mood. And late night makes it worse, because during the day, your brain has distractions, work, reels, notifications, fake productivity, but at night, distractions sleep early. Emotions don't. That's why people become philosophers after midnight. At 1 p.m., it is what it is. At 2:13 a.m., maybe she replied okay instead of okay because the emotional connection was collapsing. Brother, relax. The FBI is not hiring for breakup investigations, but overthinking tricks people into feeling productive. You think you're understanding the relationship better, but really, you're just emotionally rewatching a season that already ended again and again and again. And maybe the saddest part is this. Sometimes people don't reread old chats because they miss the other person. They reread them because they miss who they were back then. More wanted, more hopeful, more emotionally alive. Because old chats are dangerous like that. They don't just remind you of people, they remind you of versions of yourself that no longer exist. And humans get attached to emotional familiarity, even painful familiarity, which is why people say they've moved on, but still know exactly where the chats are. Archived, muted, emotionally buried, but never deleted, because deleting them feels less like removing messages, and more like accepting that a chapter of your life is actually over. And humans are surprisingly bad at endings. So the next time you catch yourself rereading old conversations late at night, ask yourself something honestly. Are you really missing that person, or are you missing the feeling of being understood by someone? Because those are not always the same thing. And realizing the difference is sometimes the first real step toward healing.